Well, second time in a year, almost a year to the day, I got laid off again.
So I just got off a Teams call at work. I got a meeting invite this morning called Team Update.
One thing I was unprepared for in the professional world was how they do layoffs.
We have some pretty horrible economic news. United States layoffs are now surging to their highest point since the pandemic.
I just got laid off from my job, and there's something that is really, really difficult about sitting in the now, waiting, trying to figure out what is meant for me, where I'm going to end up, what I'm going to end up doing, and not trying to rush the phase that I'm currently in. Like, I'm wanting to bring in income, and so my mind is going crazy, and I'm feeling like I need to email 5,000 companies to apply for them, and I need to post 10,000 times on here to hurry up. Okay, I need to make money. I need to hurry up and get myself and my family back up to where we were. It is so hard to just sit and be still and listen instead of talk and receive instead of ask for this phase that I'm in right now, to try to determine what's meant for me and what is right for me.
As layoffs are continuing to happen going into 2026, and we're starting to see companies like Amazon, UPS, and other big corporations lay off their workers, leaving them with no jobs, leaving them with nothing to sustain themselves, nothing to pay their bills, and with just a simple email of, we're cutting back on costs, you're no longer needed for these services anymore. And that's got to be one of the hardest feelings to ever feel. We're going to check out some people talking about their laid off experiences, and even going into 2026. So let's talk about it.
Good morning, TikTok. I was laid off this morning, quite literally on my way to work. They asked me to pull over on the side of the highway, and they told me over the phone. They told me they would call me back later to discuss severance and all of that, because they wanted to give me a little bit to digest everything, since I was quite literally driving. But yeah, I'm currently redoing my resume, Canva. Feeling very angry, a little bit hopeless. It's my resume, or all the things. I've cried so much. I've angry cried on and off for the last 2 hours since this happened at 8:30 this morning, and it's now 10:57. So I guess what better way to spend my time, since I have no job effective today, than make TikToks. If anyone can relate, losing their job.
This has to be one of the hardest things that anybody would have to face. Imagine you're going to work, clocking in, about to go to your job, and they send you an email saying that you're no longer needed. And this is by far the worst way to find out that you're being laid off from a position. And it is honestly concerning. And, I really hope that this young lady here finds a position sometime soon, just within another company that will actually value her. But when you are getting these last minute emails of being let go just from simply the company just wanting to cut back on certain things, makes things really difficult.
I just clicked on the news, and it literally told me the class of 2026 is projected to have the hardest job market of almost all time, or the last 5 years. I'm a little slow. Apparently layoffs are increasing, and companies are replacing entry roles with AI. Dude, some of my friends that graduated last year still don't have a job. So that means the people that are graduating this year are even more screwed. What is going on? I thought AI is low-key creating more jobs or more opportunities in different sectors. I don't know. But regardless, I hope something changes soon, because this is not really ideal for are people my age, 22 years old, coming fresh out of college. Like, what is someone supposed to do when they don't have a job out of college? Do they go to college to get a job, right?
That is something and a very good conversation to talk about with class of 2026. Just within class of 2025 and knowing how difficult it was to just even find a job these days. Like I even know people personally who graduated in my graduating class of 2025, and it was a very difficult time to find work. You know, you have all these fake postings being posted, companies putting out job listings of wanting to get you hired, but end up not being real, or ended up wanting to interview people, but end up not even hiring anybody, to being very selective. It was a very crazy time, you know, having to go through that and kind of seeing other people's reality of it. And the hope is that this doesn't continue and this continues to get better over time as 2026 is getting ready to have their graduating class. But as we see right now, it's just very unknown and very undetermined to see if things will improve for the future. So that is the hope. You know, good luck to everybody graduating in 2026, but man, it is really tough out there right now.
So I just got off work, and there's been a lot going on in this beginning 2026. Last month basically on New Year's Eve, I found out, this happened in New Year's Eve, but afterwards I found out that my sister has a brain tumor in her brain. Just yesterday, my company that I work for, I'm not gonna say where, now they announced that the company is gonna shut down. So we have a year to work there, and then no more. Yeah, it's a lot, especially for other people, for sure. They're getting hit really hard because I feel like a lot of couples work here, and you know, we gotta make ends meet. And yeah, I'm just leaving work pretty early right now because I'm sick. And I don't want to get people sick because there's something going around, I guess. But yeah, there's just a lot going on, you know, like, and that's just like with me. And that's not even counting like what's going on around the world and the United States and everything. But that's like more political, you know, side of things. Yeah, and I'm actually kind of affected by it as well. And I'm sure a lot of people are too. But I just wanted to make this video and, you know, let viewers know that, you know, it's gonna be fine. Even though things aren't going fine, it's gonna be fine. It's like, as long as my body is still living, then I'll make the best out of it.
I really do feel for her, you know, having to be in a predicament where your company is going out of business or just shutting down completely and telling you basically you have a year to figure it out. We'll continue to have you work for us, but you have to figure out another means of income. To anybody out there that may be in a similar situation, you always just got to make sure that you don't only just have your job, but you also find another means or just have other ways of bringing in money, because you know, some jobs, they can just let you go very quickly.
After nearly 8 years of working remotely, yesterday I got called into the dreaded reduction in workforce Zoom call. And while it absolutely sucks to be unemployed at the start of a new year, I'm looking at it as an opportunity, a chance to revisit some of the gifts and talents that maybe I haven't used in a while. Perhaps I could go back to being a cleaning lady. That was cool. Or maybe reviewing Kylie lip kits, since we're all claiming that it's 2016 again. Yeah, nah. I could go back to my amateur stand-up comic career.
Instead of old wives' tales, I grew up on old Negroes' tales. Provide me a pair of shoes because he can't walk out there. No. Fucked up shit to tell a 12-year-old. I'm looking for Father's Day gifts.
Or maybe I could see if Pizza Hut is hiring. Maybe I could continue my mom content. Or tap into some other kind of content. Just kidding. Or am I?
This really does kind of highlight, when you have people going through these layoffs and being let go from their jobs, they're having to come up with creative ways to make money, and I'm all for it. It gives you that creativity to be like, okay, well, since this part of my income isn't really coming in, I can dive in and find other opportunities you can do. Like, say, if it was that business you've always wanted to start, you start thinking about wanting to go into doing that business, or you maybe starting that YouTube channel, or starting that clothing brand, whatever it is. Even if you are employed, it's definitely really good to kind of pursue that, especially on the side, or even, if you have experienced something similar to this.
Economists are predicting layoffs, mass layoffs, starting again in January. Well, it never really ends. As you know, Amazon has laid off 14,000 in 2025, UPS 48,000 layoffs. Microsoft says it's AI related, Salesforce thousands of layoffs, government and public sector over 300,000. Layoffs expected for 2026. Amazon, additional layoffs. UPS, continued layoffs. Telecom sectors such as Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Tech sector broadly. Huge list of layoffs coming from 2025 continued into January 2026. There is a website that you can go to. It's called warntracker.com to see if you have an upcoming layoff within the next 60 days. Companies with more than 50 employees are required to add their name to this list. Hi, my name's Christina. I have a master's degree in business.
People these days not only have to worry about just getting to work on time and working their job, but also have to worry about, is this job going to lay me off soon? Like, what are the companies' news looking like? To look at this and to see all these different companies, to see all the many people that work for these places could possibly face these layoffs, is scary times that we're living in right now.
Any of the tech workers still unemployed from the mass layoffs, have y'all been getting feelers sent out by recruiters yet? Suddenly I have a lot of recruiters in my inbox for contract work 6 months to 1 year at a time, but they are all hiring for a ridiculously low hourly rate. So jobs that I used to go on where I would be making $50 to $70 an hour are now hiring for $25 to $30 an hour, which is about the same amount that I make doing retail management work, except with my retail manager's job, I at least get benefits. The whole reason for a high hourly is that you are charging for the benefits that you do not get as a salaried employee, including things like job security, your 401k, and your health insurance. We are undergoing a major salary reset for the tech industry at the very least, if not across the board. They are trying to get white-collar workers as close to the minimum wage as possible. Never once did I ever think my tech job, my cushy tech job, would be the equivalent of working retail. Never. And now I'm sitting here with interviews from the Big Five that offer the same amount as my retail job, but I mean less, honestly, because I don't get health insurance, I don't get benefits, and I don't get paid time off. My retail job is more competitive than the tech jobs I'm going out for. And I have 10 years of experience in high-level content strategy and algorithm work. This is wild. Never in all my years would I think that specialized work would be competitive or on par with my retail job.
Imagine you are going to apply for a higher job within the corporate area, and you were thinking, oh, well, this is a really good title. I'm going to make a lot of money doing this, whatever profession it is. And you start to see that when they get past the duties and what things would be required of the job, they get to the salary, they get to the financial part, they start to say about, well, the pay is going to be this amount, and it ends up being a little bit lower than your expectations. And this is something that you see a lot of just happening today, where a lot of people have these jobs that are typically higher paying, but corporations, these companies coming back on different resources, which means lower paying for some employees.
Come with me to get made redundant from my job.
Yeah, Edward. After careful review today, we made the decision to proceed with certain role eliminations due to needs and performance of our GTM organization. And your role has been impacted, and today will be your last day. I'm wishing you all the best.
Yeah, cool. No worries. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a
Take
nice
care.
day.
Bye.
Rosie, and that was so quick, Ed. What the fuck?
Whoa, man. I can tell he was probably so upset on the inside.
More than 100 companies are laying off this January. You know, I took notes. Let's talk about it. If you think that January layoffs were a surprise, or if you have not yet heard about them, they are coming. Over 100 companies have filed official warn notices, which are legally required when companies plan mass layoffs. That list includes Amazon, FedEx, General Motors, Nike, Verizon, Wells Fargo, McDonald's, Spirit Airlines, and many, many, many more. Here's what a warn notice means. So under federal law, companies must give 60 days notice before laying off 50 or more workers, cutting 1/3 of a work site, laying off 500 employees total. So these layoffs were decided before the holidays. I'm sure you've heard of some of them. According to the article that I read, more than 1.1 million layoffs happened in 2025. I actually believe there was more, but we couldn't really track that because we missed some of those numbers towards the end of last year due to the government shutdown. Unemployment claims are rising. Economists say layoffs don't always signal a collapsing economy. I disagree. Experts point to corporate restructuring, profit maximizing decisions, leadership prioritizing shareholders, uncertainty around trade, fiscal policy, and AI. One labor economist says uncertainty makes employers pull back on hiring. An HR consultant says this isn't about the economy falling apart. It's about who companies are choosing to protect. Bottom line, January layoffs are coming. They're documented, they're planned, they are already in motion. Well, guys, different year, same.
I know January is starting to come to an end, but if y'all had similar experiences with some of these companies and are going through it, please let me know down in the comment section. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts.
Come with me while I get laid off. Hello.
Hi, Alicia.
Hey.
Really bummed to be having this conversation. As you now know, right, we've made some business changes, tops down, and unfortunately, a number of folks, yourself included, have been impacted today. So today, it's going to be your last day working out, which is really tough. And how did we get here was unfortunately just some changes in 2026 strategy, right? Is that the sort of changes in terms of how much supply we need and how much demand we have really showed that we just have too many folks on provider sales and success. And so it's really been a...
And that's that.
I think I just got laid off. I'm like in shock right now. I was showering and I joined a global PTUD, all hands like 5 minutes late, and I get slacks from my entire team. Are we getting laid off? And then it's the CEO explaining to me about how our Q4 performance was poor and how he would like personally make sure that we would be fine, whatever. Like, you know, typical like I'm the CEO, just got laid off speech. And then the Zoom ended. Mind you, I was online. I joined for like a minute, and then immediately I get logged out of Slack and all my Google Calendar, email, and everything. So I'm kind of freaking out right now. I'm pretty sure I just got laid off. I'm trying to sign in. All my logins aren't working, so I have no way to communicate with anyone on my team, my boss.
Man, that's got to be the worst feeling to ever experience. Imagine you are working for the company, you being loyal and you showing up and giving it your all, just for them to be like, oh, well, this is Q4. We didn't really perform as well, so we're going to have to cut back on finances, which means your position. You're sitting here trying to log back into you with your credentials and not even be able to do that. That's got to be the worst thing to ever have to go through, man. So anybody that's ever gone through this, please let me know down in the comment section. That's going to be the end of this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'll see y'all in the next video.